Will Wade was hired to come to NC State and go toe-to-toe with the likes of Hubert Davis and John Shire. As the late Carl Weathers once said, ding, ding.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? It's time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Our Thursday show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can sign up today and get $250 back in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. Head on over to FanDuel.com in order to get started. Happy Thursday to all. As always, I'm Grayson Boone, joined by former Wolfpack defensive tackle Kenton Gibbs. Kenton, we had a very interesting development on the transfer portal front on Wednesday. We've all been waiting for some big fish to enter their name into the portal, and specifically some bigs. We don't really have any other big men other than Zamika Wilkins, who is still honoring his commitment and coming to state. So you had to figure that was going to be coming down the pipeline here as well. We talked yesterday about the likelihood of a big fish point guard getting in the mix at some point sometime soon as well. We did tell you that Tre Holloman from Michigan State will be scheduling a visit here with NC State very shortly. Another big name, Jarin Stevenson, a 6'11 forward from the Alabama Crimson Tide, entered his name into the transfer portal on Wednesday. And shortly after, there were two schools in particular that had immediate links to the likes of Jarin Stevenson. Kenton, I'll give you one guess who those two schools are. One of them's us, one of them's the Dirty Foot Club. And so that marks not just Tre Holloman, which is one player, but Jarin Stevenson makes two players that Will Wade and Hubert Davis may be going toe-to-toe, getting in the ring and seeing who will win the commitment. Where do we stand on this, Kenton?
I stand firmly and comfortably. I have no doubts in my mind. Listen, here's the thing, right? The only hope, and when I say the only, I mean literally the only hope that the Dirty Foot Club had was outbidding us in a band-for-band situation in the past. But things have changed. Things have shifted a little bit around here. And, I'll tell you this much. Which program would you rather be a part of? A program that is more excited than they have ever been in modern history since the invention of the iPhone. Hell, no, since the invention of the DVD player. You understand? And these kids weren't even born. The guys that are playing college basketball right now, they're younger than the invention of the DVD player. Take a second to think about that. Now,
wish I didn't.
This is the most exciting that Wolfpack Nation has ever been. This is the most feared that Wolfpack Nation has ever been as a basketball team. Under a coach that everybody is saying, oh boy, this staff that he's putting together. Before he even started putting the staff together, people were already, the feet got the shuffling and everybody got the, he's a cheater. He did bad things back in the day. Hey, that guy that was in the national championship, that Samson character, he surely had a sterling record. Right? Never mind. That's neither here nor there. This is a situation where that's happening on one side, and on the other side, everybody's like, this is a lame duck coach. He has to go. We're going to fire him immediately. Nobody likes this guy. He left some of our all-time greats with less ACC championships than Alex Nunnally. Shout out to Alex Nunnally. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the world, brother. But he left our greats with less ACC championships than DJ Horn, who was in Raleigh for 1 year. And you're telling me that that's where you'd rather sign up for? Hey, more power to you, buddy. If that's your choice, if that is truly in your heart of hearts what you believe is going to be the best place for you, more power to you. But I'm going to tell you something, okay? After the glitz and the glamour of wearing Jordan brand wears off, you're going to have to play basketball. You're going to have to go win games. You're going to have to go do stuff. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but there's a direct and negative, or there's a direct and positive correlation in the wrong trajectory between the amount of Roy Williams guys that are on that team and the amount of wins North Carolina has. That's just a fact. And last time I checked, Grayson, they bought a lot of Roy Williams guys, aren't they?
I believe they are.
Oh, man. So unfortunate. Darn. Shucks. Man, Roy ain't walking through that door as the head coach anymore. Well, so sad, too bad. I'm ready for this toe-to-toe challenge to happen. Will Wade is doing a 180 in this place. He's coming around and moving some furniture, ladies and gentlemen. And again, you can either roll with it or get rolled over. And I wouldn't want to be on that rolled over side.
By now, on social media, you've probably seen the reactions of other fan bases around the country and regionally, specifically here in the ACC, about Will Wade coming to NC State and all the excitement from the Wolfpack fans. And a lot of them have been like, well, you haven't won anything. You haven't played any games yet. At the end of the day, NC State is still NC State. That's what they've been telling us. But what the national media and what local podcasts like the two of us have been telling the rest of y'all, Will Wade is coming here to change the narrative. He's coming to compete for the same recruits that Duke and Carolina want specifically. I'll get into more Jarin Stevenson info here in just a second, but he's literally from the Chapel Hill area. That'd be a hometown reunion for Stevenson. And yet, Jarin Stevenson saying, Will Wade in Raleigh with Andrew Slater. Wasn't he a scout for the OKC? He was. He was a very highly regarded scout for the Thunder. Brings me to my point here. Is it that crazy to think that right now, on April the 10th, is NC State a little bit more of an attractive landing spot with a roster that has a lot more open vacancies than UNC's does, a lot more playing time probably right away for a guy like Jarin Stevenson, for a guy that would probably be the most prominent big man, I'd have to imagine, in the starting lineup if it were to be Jarin Stevenson? Is it that crazy to think that maybe we do have a leg up on the Dirty Foot Club right now in 2025? I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy. We talked just yesterday about how NC State is more than likely going to get really aggressive here in a short amount of time because they have some pretty pennies in their pocket and they ain't spent them yet. When you bring players like Quadir Copeland and Allen Breed from McNeese to NC State, they're not extracting a gigantic toll to get them to do so. In fact, you're probably even getting like a quote unquote like hometown discount to a certain extent. We have a lot of funds available to go after players like Jarin Stevenson. And I mean, he's not Hakeem Olajuwon by any stretch of the imagination, but he was playing with the Crimson Tide. He was behind a couple, I guess, more talented players ahead of him in the lineup, but he got plenty playing time this year. He started 22 of their 37 games. I've seen a lot of Alabama fans kind of question his development over the last 2 years. He was virtually the same exact player from his freshman to sophomore year, but I have my own gripes with the Alabama system and the idea that they literally do not play defense at all. Their goal is to score 100 points, and whatever the other team has is basically whatever the other team has. In a different system, perhaps a Will Wade-led system, maybe you could unlock something that Jarin Stevenson has not shown people yet. He's a 6'11 forward who can shoot the three. It's not his main feature, but he shot a pretty decent volume from three because, again, that's basically all Alabama does this year. I think Jarin Stevenson provides a lot of value. And ironically enough, Jarin Stevenson is like the picture-perfect four that Kevin Keatts always wanted to land here in Raleigh. He wanted a super long, super rangy, super athletic four that wasn't quite a center, but had some tendencies of like a high-level guard play type of guy. It's like a hybrid position. Jarin Stevenson's like a hybrid between a forward and a center. Will Wade would make somebody like that a dangerous cat. He'd be dangerous in Raleigh. This is why Will Wade is here. He's here to get in the face of the blue schools and say, oh, you want him? Psych. I'll take that. See you in a couple months. Get ready for it. This is cinema. Get your popcorn ready. It's about to get interesting beginning as soon as this weekend.
Get ready to learn some reckoning. And that's all I got to say about this.
This is the reckoning. There's still a lot more reckoning to actually be reckoned when we actually tip this thing off here next coming fall. But this is the buildup to the reckoning. This is the blueprint for building a reckoning. And there's so many more players that are still going to hit the portal, be linked to NC State. This is why the staff is who they are. This is why Will Wade is our current head coach. This is why the NIL efforts have been ramped up over the course of the last month. The wheels have been in motion for a moment and an opportunity like this one. So Will Wade potentially going toe-to-toe with Hubert Davis over Tre Holloman from Michigan State and Jarin Stevenson from Alabama. You better get that popcorn ready. You better get your salt ready, your butter ready, and get comfy on the couch because the dead period is over after today on Thursday. April 3rd to April 10th is the dead period. What does that mean? This weekend's going to get very interesting. Stay tuned, folks. Coming up next, we're talking about this newly assembled staff and the way that they've managed the transfer portal talks up to this point. Are you impressed? Do you want more from them? Give us your thoughts. More on this after a quick word from our sponsors. Our Thursday sponsor is FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are almost here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you can get $250 back in bonus bets if that first pesky $5 bet wins. Me personally, I love FanDuel. It makes betting very easy, whether it's picking my favorite teams or even diving into player props. From three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many different ways to bet your favorite player props all NBA playoff season long. Plus, after the games tip off, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for the chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head on over to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Only on FanDuel. Middle portion of our Thursday show, transitioning into more conversation about Will Wade and the coaching staff that he has assembled. Wanted to talk about this on Thursday because I do think it's a little bit of a hot topic across social media. Will Wade and his staff, they have seemingly been very tight-lipped about pretty much everything. And I get it's only been 2 to 3 weeks. There's still a lot of time for them to, update their bios on the team website. For example, Will Wade is the only person on staff with both a photo and a bio. Everyone else, it's pretty much just blank. And maybe Andrew Slater's will stay blank anyway, because we all know that he's a ghost, but they're keeping everything very close to the vest. And that's obviously in reference to how things are being handled within the transfer portal and some of the interests. You're really only finding things out from Twitter for the most part. I mean, you see the picture of players after they enter the portal, and then there's like the 9 to 10 schools that have interest in them that are posted all there together. And you'll often see NC State on a couple of them. Or you'll see the main publications like you saw on 3 on Wednesday with the Jarin Stevenson graphic where it said both NC State and UNC are early leaders to be interested in him. Kenton, what are your thoughts on the new staff playing matters relatively close to the vest so far out of the gate?
In the words of Dwayne Carter, real G's move in silence like lasagna. And that is what this group is moving like. You talk about Andrew Slater and how much of a ghost he is. Do you all know how hard it was to track down a picture of Andrew Slater before NC State put one on their website? Like, hey,
nobody had seen him.
Andrew Slater. That man could have been shopping right next to you at Food Lion or Whole Foods or Walmart or Target. You would not have been any the wiser. He's the type of guy that, another school thinks they got a player locked up, and then all of a sudden they just go in the gym and you see him standing over in the corner. And then, you look down at your phone to send a text, look back up, and he's not there anymore. He's that type of guy. And damn it, I like it. I don't care how you get the job done. I don't care if you move in the shadows. I don't care if you're moving in broad daylight. All I care about, are you getting the guys here? Are you getting the guys here? And less than a month in, we have the 4th highest recruit of all time in NC State, and yet we're still saying, bigger fish could be on the hook. I'm going to just tell y'all this. Will Wade is moving different. Slater is moving different. All of these guys are moving in a way that we are not accustomed to, and I'm excited for it. I don't care if they're loud. I don't care if they're quiet with it. And again, this is not to denigrate or talk bad about anybody else. But remember how we all felt about Boo Corrigan a while ago? Because, he's so quiet. Oh, he just doesn't come out and say much. Oh, he's just not really much of a talker. Well, you don't need to talk when you can show and prove. You never need to talk when you can just show and prove, which is what I believe this staff will do coming up, which is what I believe they have done, to be honest, and what I believe they will do going forward. Just showing, just proving, just moving, just grooving.
This is essentially what I pictured Kenton describing Andrew Slater as. I just put this up on the screen here. There's just a dark hooded figure in the corner of the gym watching a potential prospect. And then you blink once and look back, poof, he's not there anymore. He's a ghost. I simply can't speak enough about the love I have for Andrew Slater being on the staff. And we're still in the very extremely early stages of him actually getting things done here at NC State. But yeah, to Kenton's point here, I almost kind of liken it to Dave Dorn and the football staff being very tight-lipped on their end of things, shutting out the spring game from the public and not having anything televised, no media at their practices, keeping everything in-house and simply just focusing on what they need to focus on, which is themselves. And I think I see a lot of value in doing that for Will Wade and the staff because they're still unpacking boxes from moving into the Raleigh area. So I love that Wolfpack Nation is a very anxious fan base and we want to see things, want to hear things. We always want to know what's going on at all times of the day. It requires a lot of patience that sometimes we don't all have. And don't get me wrong, I love that about us. I wouldn't want to be any other fan base than the way that this fan base acts. I love that we want to be involved in this program. We want to feel invested in this program. And it just speaks to the overall excitement that everyone has about maybe NC State basketball is going to return to prominence. Who would have thought we'd say that like a year and a half ago? Not many of us, to be honest. And now we've done a complete 180 in the quickest of turnarounds. And we're getting excited about Jarin Stevenson, who's a former fringe 5-star player, Mr. Basketball in the state of North Carolina back in 2023. NC State has a real chance to reel in these guys now. And not that Coach Keats didn't have a real chance, but the opportunities for our staff now, they feel a lot more feasible because you have the Moneyball guys like a Patrick Stacey. You have the former NBA scouts like an Andrew Slater. You have the proven winners and American gangsters like Will Wade. This is the staff we've always dreamed of having. I know I've said that like 78 times, but watching this play out and watching these high-level players take an interest in NC State, it's kind of surreal. It truly is. And Will Wade landing a 5-star recruit 2 weeks in office. These are all things that we're going to start getting used to in this tenure. And it's a whole lot to be excited about. So I don't have a problem at all with them being relatively quiet-ish. I mean, there's some things that you can't be quiet about forever, but I do appreciate the fact that they're going about their business the right way. They don't want a bunch of leaks and a bunch of information going this way and that way, and then you get misinformation spread all over the place. There's no need for that. When you're coming in, you have a blueprint, and you want to do things the right way. So from 1,000 yards away, it really feels like they are being meticulous about this. They're being careful. I can only imagine that will only benefit Will Wade and the staff here in the short term and long term. I get impatient just like the rest of y'all do. Believe me, we want to see wheels in motion. We want to make waves both in the ACC and nationally, and all that is coming. But time kind of does feel at times, pun intended, like it's crawling. We want to see movement. I promise it's coming. Will Wade, he didn't come here to let us down in just a month's time. He's going to make some waves here in the very near future.
I want to reiterate and reemphasize the fact that there are more pictures, and this is a true fact. I looked this up to verify and guarantee this. There are more pictures of Grayson Boone playing club baseball with NC State than there are of Andrew Slater online doing anything. That is
it's like 2-1.
Don't worry about the score. Just know you won, Grayson. Now, with that in mind, I want to make one thing clear about this staff. We are all excited about them. Trust the process here, right? Just like last year, after Keats took this team to the Final Four, everybody was willing to trust that things were going to happen as they should. Now, granted, it didn't work out last year. We move on. Cool. This year, trust it. Trust it. Trust Will Wade. Because I am telling you, Grayson was not wrong. There are some big fish that are about to be on the hook here. There are some big names. The cavalry is on its way, but we've got to be patient because, again, this thing has been mapped out in a way. I want you to think about this. A young man, fringe 5-star, commits and says, I believe in Will Wade's vision when there were a total of 3 scholarship players on the roster. Just take a second to think about that. Think about all the pitches that young man has heard. Because, again, this ain't football now. We're talking, or I'm sorry, this ain't a 2-3 star guy now. This is a fringe 5-star. Think about what people have came and sat on his mother and father's couch and told him. And he's saying, it's all about Will Wade's vision. I believe it. I see it. I buy into it. When there's nobody on this roster here, just let them cook. Just give them time. You cannot expect an oxtail worth of blessing in hot dog time. It doesn't work like that. It does. You can throw some beanies and weenies on the stove, be done in 10 minutes. Oxtails, you got to cook that thing all day. You got to start in the morning if you want it for dinner. If you want it for lunch, baby, you got to start the day before morning and have them ready to be warmed up by lunch, because you can't just, that ain't how oxtails work. Trust me. We're going to be all right. Just let Will Wade do his thing.
It's believing in something you can't see, and that takes a lot of trust from a 5-star kid that can more than likely play anywhere he wants. But he is so interested in what Will Wade and staff is trying to build in Raleigh immediately, he couldn't help himself but to want to be involved. And one last thing, speaking of things you can't always see, I actually did find a second picture of Andrew Slater. This one is in a parking garage.
Oh, looking good, Drewski. Looking good.
All right, that's enough fun for now. Moving forward, coming up next, we're talking about On3's list of the top 10 quarterbacks in the country. Where do we think CJ Bailey should fall in line? More on this after a quick word from our sponsors. Last couple minutes of our Thursday show, I saw a top 10 list come out on Twitter also on Wednesday. It comes from Andy Staples of On3. He listed his top 10 quarterbacks in college football for the upcoming 2025 season. Kenton, before I pull this up, do you think CJ Bailey's in the top 10 or probably somewhere close?
He plays for NC State. He will not be listed in the top 10.
Good answer. I believe, if my memory serves correctly, we talked about a different list. I don't think it was from On3, but sometime in the recent past, I think it was very shortly after the bowl game, another site had CJ at like 15th in the country. That's probably a more likely scenario. But here is the top 10 from Andy Staples on the screen. You have DJ Lagway from Florida at 1, Lenora Sellers of South Carolina at 2, Cade Klubnik of Clemson at 3, Arch Manning from Texas at 4, Garrett Nussmeier of LSU at 5, John Mateer, the transfer at Oklahoma, as 6, Drew Aller at Penn State, 7, Sam Leavitt from Arizona State, 8, Darian Mensah from Duke at 9, and Carson Beck at Miami at 10. Kenton, immediate thoughts. Go.
There are multiple names on this list that just piss me off really bad. Really, really bad.
Talk
so
about
bad. If Arch's last name was Boone, would anybody care?
Who the hell's Arch Boone?
If Arch's last name was Gibbs, would anybody be like, oh, man, that remember, you know that backup from Texas that lit up Louisiana Monroe? Oh, man, we got to watch out for him. He lit up Louisiana Monroe with 2 first-rounders out wide. You know, not everybody can do that, Grayson. No, nobody would care. John Mateer, he is talented enough. My only concern for him, he's going into a new situation at Oklahoma. But the guy directly behind John Mateer is the one that Drew Aller of Penn State. I want everybody to know this. I'm not just saying this because he's an Ohio native, because, you know, how I feel about Ohio is well documented, but that's neither here nor there. I need everybody to understand something. Drew Aller had his second leading rusher outrushed NC State's top 2 leading rushers combined. His second leading rusher did that. His second leading rusher had 12 touchdowns. Our top 2 had 10 in Jordan Waters and Hollywood Smothers in terms of on the ground. And by the way, I know what you're thinking. Second leading rusher. So what was his first doing? His backs combined for over 2,200 yards on the ground. Over 2,200 on the ground alone. If you add in the extra 500 that they chipped in through the air, you're looking at 2 backs that combined for nearly 3,000 damn yards of production. Oh, and by the way, Grayson, there was some guy, some tight end of some sort. Is it TJ something? What's the guy's name?
Is it TJ Warren? Oh, wait, no, that's a basketball player.
Oh,
Tyler Warren.
Oh, okay. Tyler damn Warren. Mackey Award winner. When we saw the national champion, when we saw the semifinal game, the Orange Bowl, I said going into that game, hey, this game is going to come down to who has the better quarterback. And by far, this is not even a question. Between Drew Aller and Riley Leonard, I said Drew Aller is by far the worst quarterback. He threw 3 interceptions in that game, 2 of which were called back because of penalties. He was 12 for 23 for 123 yards. I don't understand any list that includes him. Sam Levitt, sure. Darian Mensah, sure. Carson Beck, not a soul. But I can at least see the vision. Some of these guys, the vision is not visioning. And, I'm going to just say this. If you give C.J. Bailey the weapons that Drew Aller had, I have no doubt he exceeds what he did by a lot.
Couple hot takes to get off my chest here. Carson Beck was a Georgia Bulldog merchant. Darian Mensah was a numbers and a G5 conference merchant. Sam Levitt, I think he belongs. Drew Aller was my team's really good, and I have the best 2 running backs in the country merchant. John Mateer is a numbers merchant. He played at Washington State, not even in a conference. I'll throw another merchant on the end of that. Not even in a conference merchant. Nussmeier, Manning, Klubnik, Sellers, and Lagway. I do think they also belong somewhere in the top 10. I just don't know if it's in the top 5. I think Nussmeier probably belongs in the top 5. I think Garrett Nussmeier from LSU is going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Probably going to be reflected as more than likely to be one of the top quarterbacks taken in next year's NFL draft. Seeing Klubnik as high as 3 is kind of crazy because not just Clemson fans, but NC State fans have also watched his development over the last couple of years. I can't get my brain to think about Klubnik as a top 3 quarterback in the country. It just doesn't quite compute. I think Clemson's going to be really, really good in 2025. Their wide receiving core is excellent. So I think they might even make him look better than maybe he is. I don't know. I think he's a good quarterback. You can physically watch me doing it right now. I just can't commit to the idea of him being that high. DJ Lagway is an interesting one because he kind of burst onto the scene in 2024. He has a world of talent, so I won't be surprised if he ends up in this top 10 list as well. These lists are always kind of entertaining because it's like, how do you even quantify this type of stuff? I think you're just looking at logos and saying, oh, this guy's the quarterback of Penn State. Yep, he's in there. This guy's the quarterback of Texas. Yep, slide him on in there. That's kind of how this works. So I wouldn't take a ton of value from a list like this one. I also wouldn't be discouraged at all that a guy like C.J. Bailey's not on it. Like I said, there was another list back in January that had him 15th in the country. I think that's probably about right because we also saw many moments last year where there's a lot of projectable growth that CJ was going to have to go through in this offseason to be a better quarterback and a better version of himself in 2025. There's still a ton of growth to be seen there. So don't let a list like this discourage you, especially when you have a guy like Carson Beck on it. Come on, guys. Come on. That'll do it for us here on Thursday. As always, thank you all so much for joining us. Be sure to hit that like button, drop your comments in the comment box, mash that subscribe button if you have not already. Tell us your thoughts on potentially Will Wade going toe-to-toe with Hubert Davis over multiple transfer portal commitments here in the near future. Give us your thoughts on Will Wade and his staff and the way they've been moving in silence so far these first couple weeks. Anything else you have on your mind, drop that in the comment box as well. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on Friday for more. And until then, go Pack.
Go Pack.